There comes a time in life when you have to decide, you know, the people that have been riding with me all this time, am I carrying them now? Because if you're now carrying them, then you have to make a decision. Is the weight too much, or is the load too heavy? If the load is too heavy, then you have to start shedding some of that weight. And when you shed that weight, it puts you in a position to be able to fly, to soar. You can't soar weighed down, bogged down with all this heaviness that people have, brought up on your life, telling you, well, if it wasn't for me, you couldn't have done this, or if it wasn't for me, you couldn't have done that. No, that's not what it's about. What it's about is have we reached the end of the road? And if we have, now I must take it from here. It's just like when you with your family and your mother, and y'all walking together as a little kid at 2 years old. They have to kind of drag you along because you can't keep up. When you become 4 or 5 years old, now they don't have to drag you as much. When you're 8, 9, 10 years old, now y'all can walk in unison. Even if they're holding your hand, you can keep up. When you get to be 15, 16, 17 years old, now they're trusting you to walk ahead of them as long as they can keep an eye on you. When you're in your 20s and 30s, they don't even have to keep an eye on you. All you have to do is check in every now and then, and they know that you're okay. You see what I'm saying? There's levels of training that come with business and with work and with everything else that you have going on. So you can't be afraid, or you can't be guilty about leaving somebody behind, because if they weren't designed to go with you, they have to drop off. If they don't drop off, you can't go forward. And you know what? One of the greatest mistakes I made in life when I was in relationships was to try and bring my wife with me on the journey that God was taking me on. Even though we were together, living in the same house, we weren't supposed to be moving at the same pace. So what I had to learn to do was to go head on and get whatever it is that God has for me to get. And then it's going to cover that house that we're in. And it's going to cause me to be the Lord over that house because of what He's given me. And she would have benefited from just being in the house. She didn't have to know what I know or do what I do to be who I was in order for us to be together. All she had to be was functional in her capacity. And that's what we have to learn. We have to learn to allow people to be functional in their capacity. And once their capacity is full, then you have to, it's just like the SD card. Once their capacity is full, you have to pull that SD card out and put another one in. One that you go from a 64 to a 128. And the reason you go from a 64 to a 128, because the 128 can hold more information. You have to do the same thing in life. Sometimes you have to go from one person to another person, because that other person can do more than the other person did. You can't let guilt keep you at a place where you can only do so much. Because if that's the case, then you'll never have the freedom that you need to soar. Why do you think when all of these different people, not only music stars, but everybody else, when they get into a position where they have to let go, Bobby Brown, for instance, with New Edition, as long as he was with New Edition, he was a background singer. But when he stepped out on his own, he became the forefront of everything he did, because he was it. And it took him where he wanted to go and not where they were taking it. So what we have to learn in life is are you going to be the Bobby Brown, or are you going to be New Edition?
That's it.
And this is what we have to decide. It's not against anyone, but it's for you. You can cut that.